Torridey. It's another fine day. It's another really beautiful day. And like always, we get together because we want to have conversations that can change our community, conversations that can help us get to where we want to be. It's beautiful because so many people are coming out not just to share their story, but to make sure their story get to who it's supposed to get to. Today with me, I have a group, wonderful people, extraordinary young people, but doing wonderful for our community. Sometimes I want to say the names, but I just prefer for them to say their names and introduce yourself. Welcome to Torridey Boss.
Good day. Thank you.
Yeah, so you can speak in French and
I
please.
will I will try to speak also in English.
Okay, let's try to be.
In America, I am in America, so
Yeah. So, boss, you are actually someone who's been here again and again. So sometimes it doesn't even feel like you need any introduction. But let's start with you. Oh no, they say ladies for gentlemen. Tell us a little bit about you and your names and where you're from.
je m'appelle SolangeBeyala Kiki, je suis camerounaise et puis je sais pas comment je vais me présenter, j'ai plein de casquettes, mais je sais que je suis une personnalité publique, c'est tout.
Wow, boss.
Raphael Djine. I always, sometimes I don't know if I should introduce myself as a businessman or pastor or coach, but I prefer pastor or servant.
Whatever the situation, I think it's going to be a beautiful conversation because Torridey or Musina Nasako, we are about community building. We are about what we can do to get the community forward. We are about what we can do as the people of this generation to move things ahead. Starting with you, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do as a person?
En tant que personne, j'ai travaillé pendant 17 ans à la télévision.
Can you give me a minute, please? I feel like we're having problem with your microphone.
My microphone.
What's the community?
Ok. En live.
Yes. Yeah, can you speak to the microphone? Okay.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Okay, let me turn it on. One more time. Okay. Yeah,
Oui,
I think you're good now.
it's good.
Yes.
J'ai travaillé 17 ans à la télé au Cameroun. I began on radio in 2004, en 2004. Donc, j'ai commencé à la radio. Et puis, en 2006, j'ai commencé à la télé. Et voilà, donc, j'ai fait 6 ans à STV. Et puis, je suis allée à Equinox. J'ai fait 1 an à Radio Equinox, à Télévision Equinox, mon groupe. Et puis, je suis revenue à STV en 2013. Et je suis restée jusqu'en 2023. Voilà, donc jusqu'en 2022, voilà, parce que je suis partie du Cameroun pratiquement en début 2023.
Man, that's a long time. And boss, tell us. I know so many people want to really know you already, but for the few that are joining us today, tell us a little bit about you, what you do.
I think today I'll say that I'm one of those that believe that any man out there has the greatest potential, that they can still tapping into it, to be a better servant and also to be fulfilled in life. So I help those to reach out to to operate from their full potential. So pretty much that's what we do. in the area of business, leadership, personal development, and ministry. Yes.
Well, boss, today we actually here to talk about community building, and you said you've been on TV for 17 years. Parlons-nous un peu de ce que, how what you were doing was actually impacting our community positively.
Ce que j'ai fait a véritablement impacté la communauté parce que j'étais une présentatrice très spéciale au Cameroun. J'ai eu une émission, je pense qu'elle a beaucoup impacté les gens. C'était une émission que j'ai créée en 2007, qui s'appelle Love Night, parce elle existe toujours jusqu'à aujourd'hui. En fait, j'étais partie de l'idée que je savais que les gens avaient besoin d'autre chose que la politique, que le sport, que la culture, parce qu'à un moment, ça fatigue. À un moment, quand on regarde la télé, on est dans les débats incroyables. À un moment, on a envie de zapper la télé, surtout que nos débats, généralement, ne produisent rien. Pour la plupart, les gens bavardent beaucoup à la télé, on bavarde, on crie, on s'insulte, on se lance les mots incroyables dans les débats. Mais derrière, qu'est-ce qui a changé finalement au Cameroun depuis jusqu'à aujourd'hui? Donc moi, je suis partie de ça. Je suis pas défaitiste, mais j'ai pensé qu'il fallait créer un autre couloir qui pourrait peut-être changer les gens. Parce que je me suis rendu compte aussi que si on se comportait d'une certaine manière, si on était des gens prêts à engueuler les gens, prêts à insulter les gens, prêts à crier devant les autres, c'est parce qu'il manquait quelque chose. Il nous manque un truc, il nous manquait de l'amour. Parce que quand on aime, on est poli. Quand on aime, on parle aux gens avec beaucoup de courtoisie. Et c'est comme ça que j'ai décidé de créer une émission, Love Night, en 2007. C'était un gros défi. Quand je lançais cette émission, je me souviens, mon patron, Magda Silla, à l'époque, le directeur de STV, un Sénégalais, qui m'avait dit, Solange, c'est osé quand même ce que tu es en train de faire. Et je lui ai dit, monsieur, j'ai envie d'essayer. Et je sais que j'irai loin. Et donc, j'ai lancé cette émission et incroyablement, dès la première année, c'est devenu le rendez-vous que tout le monde attendait le vendredi entre 22h et minuit. J'avais choisi cette heure parce que je me disais, on a commencé la semaine était très compliquée, on a travaillé, on est fatigué. Donc le vendredi 22h, je permets aux gens de souffler, de respirer, d'entrer dans le week-end de la plus belle des manières. Et l'émission était rediffusée le samedi à la même heure. Donc, du coup, ça ramenait les gens. Au début, les gens appelaient pour parler de leurs problèmes. On les écoutait. J'ai un problème avec eux. Je voudrais demander pardon. Il y a même des rencontres amoureuses. Il y a des gens qui se sont mariés grâce à cette émission Love Night. Donc, c'est un peu comme ça que j'ai pensé cette émission et aujourd'hui, je suis fière de moi parce que au-delà, en 2012, j'ai changé de cap quand je vais à Equinox. Je dis, je parle plus seul d'amour. Je parle plus. Désormais, j'invite des gens, des personnalités qui viennent en face de moi, avec qui on parle d'amour, que tu sois le pape, que tu sois le président de la République, que tu sois, je sais pas trop, un homme d'affaires, que tu sois n'importe qui, quand tu es devant moi, tu es d'abord un homme ou une femme. Donc, on parle du cœur parce que chacun d'entre nous a le cœur qui bat quelque part.
Man, I feel like this is going to be interesting. Man, leadership and community building is what one thing I like about our generation. Everyone is excited. Everyone wants to do something. Everyone is pushing to do something that can make the community better, can grow the community. Let us take a few minutes. I will share the video link with you guys so we can share, have more people, because I want a conversation where it's not just about me asking questions to you and all of that. I want people from out there to ask their questions directly to leaders like you so we can have answers that can continue to grow our community. Okay, just give me 1 minute.
Vous êtes entrepreneur et vous cherchez comment développer de nouvelles aptitudes, mais vous vous demandez comment y arriver? Prenez désormais rendez-vous chaque dimanche à 14h heure d'Afrique centrale, avec les sessions de rencontres hebdomadaires des entrepreneurs. Pendant ces sessions, vous serez exposé à des entrepreneurs chevronnés aux compétences hors normes, venus des 4 coins du monde. Vous aurez également la chance d'interagir avec le Master Coach Raphael Djine, magnate des affaires, entrepreneur à succès américain d'origine camerounaise. Une expérience qui va changer et à jamais le cours de votre vie. Pour plus d'informations, contactez-nous au numéro suivant.
New, and then you look at what others are doing, and you're like, man, I can do better than that, and you start find fault in it. Sometimes until you sit on the pilot seat, and suddenly the way you were seeing things, others will start point finger at you also. And so that's something that really troubled me in leadership. And from that point, I learned something. You know, today John Maxwell says something. He said leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. And what is influence? That's the question. Sometimes leadership is not what we teach. It's not what we are preaching. It's not even what we're asked people to do, but it's what we are doing. We don't influence people by our teaching. We don't influence people by our counsel. We influence people with our doing. A lot of leaders today don't have a father. So they came they are self-made. Or at some point of the leadership, they break away in a fatal way because they caught a new revelation. And now they are teaching, they have a lot of followers, maybe people that follow them. And then certainly, when they get to a certain point, the same follower do exactly what they did to the father to them. And then they wonder, okay, how am I teaching, loving, and helping people? And certainly, they are not doing what I'm asking them to do. You know, I'm trying to talk about my own kids. I learned something. People will never do what you ask them to do. Leadership is a spirit. And we communicate the spirit that is in us into other people. It's like the seed that you sow in the ground. So those that are following you. Let's say I have my father in leadership, John Maxwell. I used to ask myself a question. Why some of the people that I'm raised them, why certainly when I raise them to a certain level, when they get their own follower, instead of pointing them to me as their father, they can talk about me, but they keep their own people. So the loyalty, they will talk about me. Oh no, Coach Raph is a great man, blah, blah, blah. But they will never trust me when they're on people. And I found that. The question I ask myself is, have you trusted them to your father? Have I ever introduced them to my father? I talk about my father. I share how great my father was for me. But what I'm asked them to do for me, I never do that with them toward my father. So you understand the spirit of leadership. So even though I'm asked these people to be loyal to me, if I didn't introduce them to my father too, if I didn't do what I'm asking them to do for me now, how could I ask them to do? Where do they learn that from? The true teaching I gave them was my action. The fact that I kept them away from my own father. So now they are practicing the same thing. They are keep their own follower away. And now I'm blaming them. Like, you guys are disloyal. How could I train you and show you how to do it, but you're not doing it? And, you know, I didn't understand. I said, how come? How can I be faithful to people? Because you can say that you are faithful, but yet you are not. In your heart, in the you are not. So the spirit that you actually put into the people, if they operate in that spirit, they will forsake you at a certain point. They will be with you for a time, but they will not introduce their children to you because you didn't introduce them to your father.
Wow.
So that's where I start to correct my leadership. I say, hey, what I want into my ministry, what I want into my business, what I want as I'm building my community, I need to practice what I want to see, not tell people what is right. Because I must do what I'm asked them to do, if it indeed is right. And if I expect them to do that to me,
then you should be doing it to your
father. I
father.
must do it to my father too.
Wow.
Because if I come and tell you, oh, my father, watch my father, you go and tell also your kid at a certain point, this father thing is not safe. Now my children, I will be the father then, right? Like, be careful, because the father are now, you have to be careful with them. And I think that's one on the very, very danger that we are, that's one danger that we actually face today as a leader, as a community, because we are telling our people one thing and do another thing.
Wow, boss, this is interesting. This is deep. Now, we just heard Coach Raph talk about leadership, and sometimes I want to refer to it as a transfer of power or the transfer of legacy, or how we as a community are supposed to work and make sure whatever we are passing down to the people that follow us is what we expect or what was handed down to us. Now, one thing is sure, you were with STV for 17 years. You've been in media for a long, long time. Very, very popular. Uh, and from what Coach Raph was saying, it's not just about legacy. It's more about, for me, it's more about we are looking for ways to build our community. And if there's one thing you should be doing is, or let me just put the question as simple as possible. What are you doing to make sure when you're not here, today you're not in Cameroon, I feel like this is vacant. 100 years, 150 years from now, we'll probably not be on earth. What have you been doing as a leader to make sure when you're not there, we have a younger Beyala Solange?
It's difficult because c'est un peu difficile parce que il n'y a pas de, comment est-ce que je vais dire ça, il n'y a pas trop de, moi je dis souvent la seule chose qui a été pérenne sur la terre, c'est peut-être la Bible. Il y avait que la parole de Dieu qui est partie de Dieu pour les prophètes pour les pasteurs, etc. Aujourd'hui, est-ce que ce mouvement que j'ai lancé, est-ce qu'il y a des petits Beyala dans 20 ans, je ne sais pas, peut-être. I don't know. C'est un peu trop tôt pour dire que qu'il y a des petits Beyala parce que je suis encore là, donc je n'ai pas encore fini ma mission. Donc peut-être c'est après moi que je verrai s'il y a eu des petits Beyala. Mais je sais une chose, c'est que mon fils, par exemple, qui a 24 ans aujourd'hui, suit mes pas. C'est quelqu'un qui est un petit coach en devenir. Et mon fils, je l'ai reçu une fois à mon émission, à Love Night. Parce qu'il m'avait dit, maman, j'ai beaucoup de choses à dire. Et je lui ai dit, ok, il n'y a pas de souci. Et je l'ai reçu. Il était sur mon plateau et j'étais surpris de voir comment il avait vraiment maîtrisé. il avait vraiment maîtrisé les pas de sa mère. Et beaucoup de jeunes ne pensent pas comme lui. Et je crois que c'est un petit Beyala. C'est vrai qu'il ne s'appelle pas Beyala, mais c'est un petit Beyala parce que sa façon de voir les choses. Parce que pour être moi, pour me suivre, il faut d'abord être une personne qui ne suit pas le chemin de tout le monde. Parce que les gens comme nous allons sur le chemin inverse. Nous n'allons pas sur le chemin que tout le monde prend. Parce que ce que nous croyons, ce que nous pensons, ce n'est pas forcément ce que toute la population pense. Je n'ai pas envie d'avoir 6 millions de followers qui me suivent sans mettre en pratique, comme disait coach tout à l'heure, c'est-à-dire, je ne veux pas avoir une grosse communauté, et dans ça, il n'y a rien de bon, mais je veux avoir des gens, même si c'est 10, même si c'est 2, mais des gens qui sont prompts à marcher comme moi, qui sont prêts à faire exactement comme moi, des gens qui pensent comme moi. Je ne sais pas si je sais pas si je vais dire que je pense mieux que les autres, mais j'essaye quand même de faire des choses bien. J'essaye de faire des choses bien. Et aujourd'hui, malheureusement, dans notre communauté, on ne suit pas beaucoup les gens qui ne font pas comme les autres. On aime, par exemple, que je disais tout à l'heure que si je prends ma caméra, par exemple, et que je décide de faire un direct, aujourd'hui, là, maintenant, à l'instant, et que je dise, je vais parler, je vais venir raconter, je vais venir parler de ma copine, de ma collègue qui s'appelle telle. Je vais raconter, je vais faire le Japap, le Congo, ça. Je vous promets que j'aurai, je ne sais pas trop combien de commentaires. Mais si je dis aux gens, venez, je vous parle de l'amour, venez, je vous parle de comment soigner les cœurs malades, venez, je vous raconte, je vous dis, je n'aurai pas assez de gens. Donc, le chemin que j'ai pris est très difficile, mais j'aime mon chemin parce que je sais que ça va impacter d'une manière ou d'une autre. Il y a quelques personnes qui ont été impactées par cela, qui vont suivre. C'est difficile. Ce n'est pas la foule que je cherche, c'est la qualité que je cherche. Voilà, c'est un peu ça.
Wow, Coach, you said something really important, and she actually just added to whatever you were saying. So now the question is, what do you think our leaders are supposed to be doing? What do you think our leaders should start doing to make sure it is the message goes from the father to the son who becomes the father someday, and to the son who becomes the father someday, and to have that chain, have leaders introducing your future leaders to the other leader. And what do you think we're supposed to be doing to make sure that chain stays and it grows?
When you ask this type of question, I think about the Lord Jesus Christ. When we think about the temptation of the Lord, my question is, who was there with him? Nobody.
When he was being tempted.
Yep. He was there alone. Leader must be vulnerable. If we want to translate the truth to those that follow us, we have to be able to inspire them with our weakness too. I think I shared this story many times. One of the person in my life that I love a lot is my father. But it took me more than 30 years to trust my father. I didn't trust my father before. Not because I have a problem with my father, because next to my father, I saw myself so distant to my father, because I never see my father shout on my mom. When my father said, I want to stop this thing, he stopped it. My father lived with with the discipline that I never see anywhere. So to me, I didn't trust him, not because he did anything wrong, but because I was not like him. People trust those that are like them. When they can find themselves in you, they will trust you. That's why a drunkard would trust maybe another person that drink once upon a time, because they can understand him. A woman
avec qui tu marches, je te dirai qui tu es.
Yeah, a woman that have been hurt before, when she talked to the one that is wounded, she will
Yeah.
listen. Because when you come and talk nonsense and I can't see your wound, people will not trust those that they can't feel it. That's so when my father start open and shares some of the and become vulnerable with me, I was like, Dad, this is my father.
You agree?
I was like, this is I have a father. And I felt so great. And I was able to open to him too and say, Dad, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. He was like, oh, so you normal. I said, yeah, this is my father. And today I used to drive from the office to home. I mean, an hour. We would say, hey, Dad, hi, how was your day? Good, good. We didn't have much to talk about because he was so better. And all this crazy thing that is going through my head, I didn't know crazy thing can go to my father head too. So we have to be vulnerable with those that are working with us. We have to learn how to say, I'm sorry. We have to learn how to say, I was wrong. Even though you, the little one, sometimes with my kids, I would tell them, hey, guys, we'll go out on Wednesday evening. And then I'll come back late because of something happened to office. I'll apologize. They just, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But I say, I'm so sorry, guys. This is what happened. And I'm really, really sorry that I did that to you guys. It makes you feel like you are weak. But the next day, when the kids mess up also, they can come to you and they can apologize. So I think today leaders have to learn how to be vulnerable with those that have followed them as well.
Absolument.
With the community, with people that we are leading. We have to be able to look at one another in the eye and say, I'm sorry, I messed up, man.
Mais justement, coach, c'est ça le problème aujourd'hui, c'est que on a l'impression que les coachs, les leaders sont des supermen, que ce sont des personnes qui ne commettent pas d'erreurs, des personnes qui ne sont pas vulnérables. Et pourtant, ça peut arriver. Chaque être humain a une faiblesse. Et ça peut arriver qu'on craque, qu'on tombe, et puis maintenant la force, c'est le fait de se relever après. Je me suis relevée après être tombée et voilà, j'ai reconnu que je suis faible, j'ai demandé pardon, je me suis excusée, puis j'ai avancé.
Yeah.
Oui.
And just to add on that, I like to refer to the Lord Jesus. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody out there better than him. When I think about when the Lord was carrying the cross, he had to have a helper. Somebody come in help. Sometimes I ask myself, was he able to really carry? Or he would just communicate and give us a message also? In a position of leadership, sometimes today, people, those that follow us, they get to the point where they don't trust us anymore because we don't look like them. We reached a point where they feel like, you know what, it's not possible. You're not like me. I'm different. That's why they will leave home. They will just go on a stray with other people. They will leave church. They will leave, they will leave the company. They will leave the family because they're like, you guys are too better. So I think those two things we have to really, really, really work on that. It's not easy for your kids to look at you as a hero and you look weak or you sound weak or you appear weak around them. When we was little, they say men don't cry. And so we burn from within, and it doesn't matter how it is. We keep the show. We want to appear as a Superman, and then create that big gap with a little boy, and the boy is saying, "I don't know how to do that. I'm not like you. You're just different, or maybe you're not my dad. You're better than me. You're stronger. You can do it. I can't do it." And now we're asking them, "No, you can do it," and come back with an action and give a different message. And that's why I use the Lord Jesus. I say, who was there when he was tempted? Who was there? When he came back and asked the disciple to come and stay up and pray with him. So sometimes we have to be able to look at Aspire and say, baby, I need you. Look at our children and say, guys, I need all of you guys. This month is tough. Look at the congregation and say, hey, we have to put it together to pay the mortgage for this month. I've been doing for 5 years, but it's not, I'm not there. I need you guys. I know sometimes it's easy to ask for prayer. That's what we will ask for, but other area we will, as a leader, sometimes want to, just press the gap. So I think that's one of the things we have to be more humble and wise to do it. To be real, be real.
Boss, now, in the same light, and I wanted to expatiate a little bit in French. What do you think? Because I know, in as much as you're still doing what you're doing, I know sometimes you look at it, you look around and you say, you know what? I feel like I want to inspire someone. I feel like, what are some of those qualities you expect from someone you want to mentor, someone you want to hold your hand and take them to where you are today or where you will be by the time you exit this earth? What are some of those qualities you expect from them?
Oh, l'humilité, d'abord, c'est la première des qualités qu'on attend de quelqu'un parce que, mais moi j'ai eu des gens, je vais prendre, j'ai eu des gens qui sont venus vers moi. Ça c'était la première fois que je me faisais berner et tromper, c'est-à-dire une personne qui vient vers toi et qui te dit j'aime ce que tu fais, j'adore ce que tu fais en tant que SolangeBeyala et je veux suivre tes pas, je veux aussi devenir une grande présentatrice comme toi, je veux que tu m'apprennes et tu prends la personne à côté de toi, tu te dis je vais lui donner des bases et c'est comme ça que tu commences à apprendre des choses à la personne, tu la mets à un niveau supérieur à côté de toi parce que tu te dis je veux que cette personne évolue, que cette personne. Et plus tard, tu découvres que, en fait, ce n'était pas une personne qui était venue apprendre pour apprendre. Elle était venue apprendre pour te combattre.
Wow.
Elle était venue apprendre pour devenir ton ennemi demain. Et qui va raconter des histoires sur toi, des histoires à n'en plus finir, des histoires à dormir debout. Parfois, tu te demandes, mais c'est de moi dont on parle. Non, je l'ai côtoyée, je la connais, elle est comme ça, elle est comme ça. Je suis même arrivée à un niveau où, lorsque quelqu'un m'appelle pour me dire j'aimerais que tu me soutiennes, que tu me donnes, je préfère soutenir de loin maintenant. Je ne sais pas si vous voyez un peu. Je n'ai pas eu beaucoup de chance, comme les autres, comme peut-être coach, à avoir des gens faithful, des gens loyaux à côté de moi. La plupart de gens qui sont venus venaient avec l'idée de je veux faire, je veux être et je vais la ressembler et puis je vais faire mieux qu'elle et après je vais faire d'elle mon. Donc du coup, je crois que la première caractéristique, le premier caractère que je chercherais chez une personne que je voudrais aider dans ma vie un jour, à qui je voudrais léguer quelque chose, c'est d'abord l'humilité, c'est la sincérité. Si tu es comme moi, parce que c'est mes premières qualités dans la vie, je suis sincère, je suis vrai, je suis humble et je sais exactement ce que je veux. Si tu as tout ça, viens, je t'accompagne. Si tu n'as pas ça, reste de côté. Et c'est donc difficile d'avoir des gens comme ça autour de soi.
Yeah, and what you're saying is correct. I've tried it my own little way all the time. When I go to his office, you tell me, Nas. No, when I complain and I'm expecting him to just say, no, Nas, you're good. You faut te fâcher. Don't. He'll continue to tell me, no, that's not how you look at it. You have to be patient. You have to.
Oui, mais moi, j'étais patiente.
Yeah.
C'est-à-dire, je prends quelqu'un qui devient, et je m'avais même négocié, je m'avais même négocié pour la personne et tout. Et après, je me rends compte que mais quand je suis arrivée à un point où j'avais pris des gens et je veux que ces personnes soient comme moi. C'est-à-dire, je suis même allée jusqu'à négocier du boulot pour ces personnes-là, après la formation, jusqu'à leur montrer même comment leur donner les rouages, etc.
Wow.
Sur mon ancien plateau à la télé, nous étions 3, donc j'avais 2 personnes qui travaillaient avec moi. Donc il y a 2 personnes que j'avais ramenées dans mon équipe. J'avais lutté pour que ces personnes soient dans mon équipe. Ces 2 personnes sont devenues mes ennemis plus tard.
Wow.
Donc c'était devenu comme une sorte de défi, une sorte de... C'est très difficile. Donc, et c'est ça malheureusement le défaut des personnes qui sont bonnes. Parce qu'on finit toujours par les avoir. Parce que trop de bonté, parfois, comme je dis souvent, comme quelqu'un disait, trop de bonté tue la bonté. Mais comme je dis, ça ne va pas nous empêcher, si c'est nécessaire, de continuer à aider. Ce n'est pas parce qu'on m'a déçu 1 fois, 2 fois, mais actuellement, je me méfie quand même, parce que même la Bible dit, soyez prudents comme les serpents. Donc, j'essaie d'être un peu prudent comme les serpents, mais je ne suis pas fermée à l'idée de pouvoir aider une personne.
Coach, I was going to ask you the question, how do you do it with all this? Because I know you, I know how many people you've trained, and sometimes when we're driving or we're doing something, we're walking, I'll use my style. Let me speak to this pigeon. I'll just used to ask you, okay, what about this person and this person? In the 5 years that I've been around you, I've never heard you say something negative about someone. Sometimes I'll even make that error, maybe from my anger and whatever, and try to say something negative about someone. You will just ignore the conversation like I was not even talking to you. And I really want to know, like, how do you do it? How do you, as a leader, how do you manage that part of you that maybe you are even tempted to do or say something funny, but then you're always Raphael Djine? Always.
I want to add something. I don't know exactly when. There is somebody who called him, and this person was very disturbing. Donc, la personne était ennuyeuse. And he wanted to cut, but he listened, and la personne arriva à un niveau, et puis je le regardais, I was looking at him, to see what, and he was very calm. And he said, OK, il n'y a pas de souci, je vais t'appeler. Et il a raccroché le téléphone. Il n'a pas fait de mauvais commentaires. Il n'a pas dit, oui, vraiment, c'est des gens comme ça, comme la plupart des êtres humains qui vont dire, ouais, pourquoi il me dérange? Non, nothing. He was calm. Et c'est l'attitude des leaders, de comprendre tout le monde et d'être calme.
When I started leadership, I was fortunate to have one of the great men of God, which is Dr. Frank Ofoswapia. One of the things Dr. Frank taught me was that he took me next to the ladder. He said, Raphael, do you know the ladder? I said, no. What is that? He said, the ladder to climb.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I know the ladder, of course. He said, leadership is like the ladder. You have some people ahead of you, and you are somewhere, and others are under you. You are washing up. You are washing somebody, but other people are washing yours. If you pee, somebody pee up there, you will see. You pee, another one down will see. So if you bite, they will see down there how you are doing. So from that moment, I learned how to focus on what can help me and not what is going to hurt me. And I took the resolution to be responsible to what happened to me. Nobody controls what is happening to me but me. Nobody is responsible to what is happening to me but me. So because of that, there's no way I could, when you blame somebody else, you give them the decision, the final say. You give them control over your emotion, over your life. But when you take the responsibility, you do something about it. So if you are screaming in my ear and I want to fight with you, instead of fighting with you, that you are screaming in my ear, why don't I move myself there and find something to cover my ear? Because I want to have control. Now, if I'm fighting with you to stop the noise, If you don't stop, what am I going to do? But I can decide to remove myself, cover my ear, and do something about it. So that's how I always see it. Blame doesn't help. Take a responsibility and do something about it. If I'm somewhere and if I go at a party and they play music that I don't like, I'm at a tree, instead of fight with the DJ, I go home. I'll go home and play the music I like in my car and get home and play my music and have my peace. So I think sometimes the biggest challenge is that we always want other to be responsible to our happiness. We want others to be responsible to what is not working. And therefore, we put ourselves into what I call suffering stage. Because I want something, I want you to do something so I can have it. Why about if you're not there anymore? I will keep suffering. But if I take responsibility, I will do something about it. And I can stop the suffering or the pain. So what is required, if I go back to the question, for me to train somebody? The willingness to be trained. That's it. And I know it's not going to be easy. Because when you talk about training, that means you need something. You need some different type of knowledge. We attract everything we wanted. And when we talk about training, we have to become the person that we want to be, right? So the person have to become the person. That's why even when two people sit, like those that are watching this video, somebody is learning something and somebody is laughing.
Yeah.
At the end, somebody is going to make an action and have a result. And then another one, we even forget that he was listening to something that can transform his life. So the result, the prerequisite is just the willingness to learn. It's never easy. It's never easy. I know it. And also people come with their own attitude and their own agenda, like you say. Some people come for training because they want to see how you are doing so they can go and do the same thing. Some people are just come because they want to see how you can fail so they can testify that, yes, that guy actually failed. Some will come because they really want to learn. Some will come because they just want to be around you. Some will come just because they just a lover. They admire you. They just want to be around. And some will come just because they come to find whatever they can find on the floor and go and say, oh man, there's something on his floor. So we have to know that it's just depend on each person's agenda. But however, we have to be able to transfer the knowledge to others. We must. We must.
Boss, we're getting towards the end. What do you think will be your final message to our community when it comes to community building, when it comes to leadership and what we can do to take our community to where we want it to be?
Mes dernières paroles aujourd'hui, je dirais tout simplement aux uns aux autres, d'être, soyez vous-même. Be yourself.
Mhm.
Et quand tu as la chance d'être un leader, parce que ce n'est pas tout le monde qui est leader. Il y a des boss, il y a des patrons, mais ce n'est pas tout le monde qui est leader. Un leader, ça n'a rien à voir avec un patron. Un leader, c'est un patron qui retrousse ses manches et qui va travailler avec ses employés. Un leader, ce n'est pas celui qui donne des ordres en restant sur son piédestal. C'est moi, non. Le leader, c'est celui qui, quand il y a possibilité, lui-même, il entre dans la gadoue, il entre dans la boue et il travaille avec les autres. Le leader montre par ses actes. Le leader est le meilleur ami de ses employés. Beaucoup de gens ne savent pas ça. Il y a des patrons qui disent non, je peux pas être un vrai leader. Connaît ses employés. Un patron leader, c'est le patron qui connaît que j'ai tel employé là accouché hier, tel est en train de se marier, tel a tel problème, a telle difficulté. C'est lui qui demande à ses employés comment ça se passe pour toi, tes enfants fréquentent comment, ils sont où. Le leader veut tout savoir. Donc, il ne faut pas confondre le leader avec le patron. Et nous, en Afrique, par exemple, le Cameroun, on a plus de patrons que de leaders. C'est-à-dire, tu vas quitter d'une entreprise, tu vas quitter d'un groupe de quelque part et tu ne vas rien retenir. Quand tu as eu un patron qui t'a marqué, un patron qui est en même temps leader, tu parleras de lui partout où tu arriveras. Il sera l'exemple que tu vas... C'est comme Jésus. Jésus montrait tout avant de faire, avant de laisser aux autres l'occasion de faire. Il avait marché sur l'eau et puis il a dit aux autres, marchez, ils n'ont pas eu la foi, ils sont... Donc, tout ce qu'il faisait, lui-même, il prenait parfois le filet et il disait, il était là. Il ne laissait pas les autres. Il était là, mais c'est lui le boss, c'était lui le patron. C'est lui qui décidait. Donc, aujourd'hui, si tu veux être un véritable leader, quelqu'un qui veut amener les autres à penser comme toi, sois toi-même l'exemple. Sois l'exemple. Tu ne peux pas faire comme on dit souvent dans les églises, que faites ce que je dis, mais ne faites pas ce que je fais. On doit faire non seulement ce que tu dis, mais on doit faire aussi ce que tu fais. Parce que les deux doivent aller ensemble. Je ne sais pas si tu comprends ce que je suis en train de dire. Oui, c'est très important. Aujourd'hui, nous avons besoin des véritables leaders. Le leader comprend aussi les autres. Le leader, c'est celui qui écoute les autres. Le leader, c'est celui qui écoute quand même ce que les gens lui disent. Boss, hier, là, ce que tu as dit, vraiment, c'était ça, mais, et si possible, échanger. Ne pas être là et les autres là. Et c'est pour ça que beaucoup d'entreprises ne marchent pas. Moi, quand je vois les Américains, je suis dépassée. Tu vois un patron qui vient au travail avec le jean, avec une chemise et avec une grosse voiture qui coûte, je ne sais pas trop combien de dollars, avec une maison incroyable. Mais quand il arrive, il est comme tout le monde. Il faut aller à Silicon Valley. Là-bas, c'est encore plus grave. Les gars sont des millionnaires, mais ils sont comme si... ils ont compris ce que c'est que le leadership. Ce n'est pas le paraître, mais c'est le être. Et c'est ce que beaucoup de gens, malheureusement, n'ont pas compris jusqu'à aujourd'hui.
Coach Raphael, what would be your final message to our community when it comes to leadership and what we should be doing to get the community to where we want it to be?
I think I just want to look at somebody in the eye and just say that I think leadership, some have been choose to be a leader. You have been chosen. Maybe you help somebody and they insult you. You pray for some family until there was deliverance, and they burn your house before they left. Before they leave, you give your car, everything, and they even lie about you, and then you say, never again, never again. I just want to tell you, you didn't do that for them. That was your own work. We are called to lead. We are called to love. We are called to cherish. We are called to be an example, not to revenge. Somebody shared something 2 days ago. He said, those that you help, those that you save, those that you lead, those that you pour all your energy to it, they owe you nothing. Nothing. If from today you live that way, when you're done with your job, like Philip, you can start praise God and not looking back to see if they came back to say thank you. Maybe you'll live a little longer. Leadership is give oneself to others. It's not a trait. Like you put more, you get more. It's just the act of giving oneself in the service of others. So keep up with the great work. And let's keep up pressing on with the mission our great Lord gave us.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much for today. Thank you, boss. And I know how many more days you still have over here? Tu as encore combien de jours ici? Can we do one other live before you leave? Yeah, I want us to do another live. This was impromptu, but then because you are professional, coach is professional, it was just so easy for you guys to just flow. Like You guys did not even know what we were going to talk about. I was just like, hey, coach, I met you the other day. And I was like, wow, I need to have you on the show. And trust me.
I'm ready. If you wake up me now at 3 a.m., I'm ready.
Okay. So, man, thank you very much, coach. Thank you for coming. By the way, your social media handle?
Beyala Kiki Solange or 𝘚𝘍𝑒𝑏eyala officiel. Yes.
In the Raphael Djine, everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere is Raphael Djine.
In Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, I'm everywhere.
And thank you guys very much. Thank you guys for those who are watching. Please don't forget to let us know what you think about the segment. I'll definitely put out a flyer tomorrow to announce what time we'll sit here again and talk about things. The goal is develop our community. The goal is build our community. One thing I always believe is the fact that God actually has picked a few people because of their heart, because of the way they think, because of the way they look at our community, empower them and trust them with so much. And that is what we're trying to do. Use this platform, use the people we have around us to continue building our community. That is more to it I've got time for today.
Yozali elonga nanga, yozali makasi nanga.
Welcome to Entrepreneurs Meet Up. The Zoom meeting is an opportunity for entrepreneurs and business people from all over the world to learn, connect, and grow their various businesses. In this program, startups have a chance to pitch their business for an opportunity to receive financial aid for their businesses. Come and learn from the business strategies of Master Coach Raphael Djine, an American of African descent, who brings with him a combination of top-level performance strategies from leadership and business gurus like John C. Maxwell, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, and Miles Monroe. This session introduces you to the Elite Business School 365, a premium program known to have transformed so many businesses from all over the world.
Vous êtes entrepreneur et vous cherchez comment développer de nouvelles aptitudes, mais vous vous demandez comment y arriver? Prenez désormais rendez-vous chaque dimanche à 14h heure d'Afrique centrale, avec les sessions de rencontres hebdomadaires des entrepreneurs. Pendant ces sessions, vous serez exposé à des entrepreneurs chevronnés aux compétences hors normes, venus des 4 coins du monde. Vous aurez également la chance d'interagir avec le Master Coach Raphael Djine, magnate des affaires, entrepreneur à succès américain d'origine camerounaise. Une expérience qui va changer et à jamais le cours de votre vie. Pour plus d'informations, contactez-nous au numéro suivant. Vous êtes entrepreneur et vous cherchez